All right, and since you're down there, can I sit down there with you? Yeah? Can I? You don't sound too enthusiastic about it. May I sit down there with you? Yes, Father. Let's try that again. Yes, Father. Oh, okay, good. So, well, the rain has stopped, huh? And that's good. You know, a lot of times people, one of the things that happens when it rains is people who have sports programs that they're part of, they get canceled and they get disappointed. Oh, I had the big game. I was going to be the pitcher and all that. And now the rain came and I can't play it, right? So when there's good weather, we get to do our sports. Well, let's imagine you're either in sports or maybe you're in maybe a dance group or cheerleaders or anything like that, and you're part of a nice team, right? And you really work hard. And it's getting towards the end. There's a competition for the best groups everywhere, right? The best teams. And you are on a group that's ready to make it. So you go and you get ready and you play in this one game or this competition, tournament, whatever it might be that you're in, and you really want to win because the winner of this gets to go on to the championship, right? Well, you play your best, you do your best, but one of the other teams beats you, and they're better than you. And oh well, you feel bad, right? You know, we gave it our best shot, but then again, I guess we just weren't as good as the other team. But then later, you find out something. Somebody on the other team, it was reported the other team was cheating. That's not good, is it? And they found out that cheating was going on. And because they were cheating, they're disqualified. They lost the right to be in the championship. So they said, well, okay, you can't play because you cheated. And they turn to your team and say, congratulations, now you're in the championship. Now you feel good, right? All right, we finally get a chance to play in the championship like we wanted to. Yay, isn't that great? Now, what's going to happen to the team where they did all the cheating? You know, if it's members here or there, I'm sure that their moms and dads are going to be very upset with them. You ruined everything for the whole rest of the team because you cheated. And if it's the coach or the leader who cheated, well, that person's going to be fired, I think, right? Because that person should not be teaching young people. We're supposed to be teaching young people to be honest, not to cheat, right? So they're going to fire that person. But for you guys, you get a chance to play. And you say, this is wonderful. Now, of course, what's the last thing you'd want to do at this point, now that you've made it into the tournament? Can you take a guess, anybody? Anybody have an idea? Right, don't cheat. You don't want to cheat yourself, that's right, because you don't want to get disqualified. You want to learn the lesson from the people before you, huh? Don't cheat. Play it the right way. Well, that's kind of what Jesus was saying in the gospel reading to the leaders that he was talking to today. These were the religious leaders of the people, and God had said he was going to save the world through them, that he was going to bring the Messiah who was going to save all the world as one of their children, one of their sons, and through them he would save the whole world. And many people were waiting for that. Wow, we're the chosen people. We're the ones through whom God is going to save the world. Isn't that wonderful? How great it is that God chose us. But Jesus says, but you guys are not playing right. You're cheating. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And when God tells you to do something, you're saying, no, I'm not going to do what God tells me to do. And Jesus was telling them what God wanted them to do. And you know what they were trying to do with Jesus? Instead of loving him, they were trying to kill him. They wanted to put him to death because they were mad that Jesus was telling them they were making mistakes. And so Jesus says, so you know what? Well, it's kind of like you guys are cheating. You're not holding up your end of the bargain. So the promise to save the world is going to be taken away from you and given to a people that will do what I ask them to do. And they will bring loads and loads of people to me so that I can lead them to heaven. And that people that he gave it to is ourselves. We as Christians. We are the ones that Jesus gave it to, and we've accepted Jesus. We haven't said no to him. So, for 2,000 years now, since Jesus lived, we're the ones that have been going out, bringing people to Jesus and helping them to know him and to follow him. And you know what we get by doing that? The benefit of following Jesus? You see our beautiful painting on the wall behind us? All the saints up in heaven around Jesus with Mary. You see that beautiful painting? Well, that's what we want to be, all the people seated with Jesus in heaven. And there's room for everybody up there. And so Jesus says, now go out and tell all the world how much I love you, and then tell them to love me back. And so that's what we're called to do. So we want to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do, right? That Jesus doesn't say to us, but you didn't do what I asked you to do. So he tells us to worship him, of course. He also tells us to let other people know how to follow me. Let them know how much I love them, and then show them by your life how to follow me so that they can get to me in heaven. And even before we get to heaven, we'll make the world a better place. You know there's a lot of sad things in the world today, right? You hear a lot of people who are very mean. People saying nasty things to others, hurting other people, harming them, even stabbing them with knives and shooting them with guns and all sorts of stuff, and even just saying very, very bad things to other people. And God doesn't like that, and we don't like that. And Jesus showed us how to be different. And he says, go out and show them by being different, by not doing what they do. Give them an example so that they can follow you in following me. Just this past Wednesday, we celebrated the feast of St. Francis of Assisi. And there's a beautiful prayer that is ascribed to St. Francis that pretty much summarizes everything St. Francis believed and everything Jesus teaches us. And I'm sure you've heard it before. It says, Lord, make me a channel of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me bring love. Where there's injury, pardon. And when there's sadness, joy. And it goes on from that. And so, the question all of us have to ask ourselves is, if somebody says something bad to us, let's say somebody in school says something mean to you, how do we respond? Do we say something mean in return? Or do we say something kind in return? They say something to us and we just say to them, thank you, I know God loves you and I'll pray for you. Or if we see somebody who's sad, do we try to cheer them up? Do we try to help them with their problems? And if people start seeing us do that, they'll say, you know what? He or she, that boy, that girl is different from everybody else. How come they do that? And we'll say, because we love Jesus. And Jesus wants to make the world better and bring us to heaven. And maybe they'll learn from us what we should do or what they should do to be able to follow Jesus. And if we can do that one by one, then we'll make the world a better place. We're not going to bring happiness and peace in the world by giving them a nice gift. We can't just order it on Amazon and have it show it up everybody's door, right? And say, here's peace and happiness, okay? Here's the world being done the right way. Only one way that's going to happen, and that is by our doing it. Jesus taught us how, and we just have to live it each and every day. Now, I know it's not always easy. Sometimes when people are mean, when they're cruel, when they hurt us, it's the easy thing is just to be mean right back to them. But if we take a little deep breath and pray to God and say, no, God, help me to do what you want me to do right now. Help me to treat this person so that they know you love them and they shouldn't speak that way. And if we do that and are kind in return, that's how we'll spread the love of Jesus. By following that simple prayer that St. Francis gave us, where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is sadness, help me sow joy. And we do that, and Jesus will be with us each and every day, and we'll make a difference in the world around us. People will be happier because we've shown them how to be happy, that the key is in following Jesus. And we'll feel better about ourselves because we know we're working hard to make the world a better place. And when at long last the day comes that we're old people and it's time for us to leave this earth and we stand before Jesus, he'll say to us, well done. You did a good job. You went out and did what I told you to do. You carried out my gospel. You were faithful to me, and now come in and enjoy heaven with me, which is like a giant party that goes on forever and ever. Come in and share in my complete joy. You want that? Wouldn't we all like that? Okay? So can we make a deal today, a promise before Jesus that, Jesus, I'm going to go out now and I'm going to try to be what you want me to be so that I can change, so that you can change the world through me, that I'll be someone that shows everybody else how much you love them and that they should love you too? Sound like a good idea? Deal? Deal or no deal? Deal? Good. Deal. Very good. Well, may Jesus Christ be praised. And now you can go back to your moms and dads.